please help me with a warm welcome for Rocky Garza and his talk, The Hero Has to Die. Give it up!
What do you want? What do you want? It is the single question that has been asked to you more in the last 48 hours than any question or statement. Every individual on this stage, in some way, shape, or form, has asked you the question, what do you want? And I believe 90+% of us in the room have yet to write anything down. And you've heard from some of us, they called it imposter syndrome. Some people in the room called it the shiny object effect. Some of us said we just like to get into our own way. Tonight, I would like to affectionately call it the hero effect. Most of us are unwilling to write down what we want because we are afraid if we do, it might mean that we can't be the hero. I've spent my whole life trying to be the hero. When my parents got divorced when I was 2 and my dad left and I didn't understand why I couldn't keep mom and dad together, I wanted to be the hero. When I moved when I was 3, 4, 5, and 6 to different towns and different cities, I wanted to be the hero. When my mom was married and divorced 5 different times, and every stepdad that came in that I was hoping was going to be the one that would love me and care for me and stay with me and not leave me, and every time they walked out the door, I wanted to be the hero. When I went to one school in 6th grade, and a different school in 7th grade, and a different school in 8th grade, and a different school in 9th grade, and every time I walked the halls, I wanted to be the hero. When I was in high school and playing sports, and my dad didn't show up to the game, and every time I turned around, I wanted to tell myself I don't need him. I'm going to be the hero. When I graduated college, when no one was there clapping, saying, "Way to go, son," I wanted to be the hero. When my fiance left because somebody else was better, again, I wanted to be the hero. When I got married to my wife and the therapist said, "Why do you want to get married?" And the first thing that came out of my mouth with no hesitation was to say that I could prove to my father that I was not like him, I recognized once again that I wanted to be the hero. And when my son was born, and I looked at his face, and I had to have a moment of reckoning like I think many of you are going to have in the next 7 minutes. Because I had to look at my son in the face and say, "Son, as much as I want to be, I am not your hero." But admitting that we don't want, or even more, that we can't be the hero, means that the hero has to die. You see, the heroes in our life that we remember, why and when do we remember them? We remember them when they're dead. And I don't know a single person in the Guardians Alliance or any of you here at the Guardian Retreat that is hoping to build a life so wonderful it only is remembered when you're dead. But in order for the hero to die, the only thing that can be birthed is vulnerability. But vulnerability is not you putting your shit on the table for everybody to see. That's called unhealthy. Go to counseling. Vulnerability is defined as creating the opportunity to see and be seen by others. For those of you that thought you weren't going to take notes, I'll tell you again. Vulnerability is defined by creating the opportunity to see and be seen by others. Gary stood on stage and said multiple times, what is it that you're hoping someone's going to see? I think his words affectionately were, many of you that run businesses are dicks. I think that's what he said. You didn't laugh as hard as him when he said it as you did at me, but that's because it's Gary. I'm not saying that the hero has to die because I think you're rude or bad or broken. I think that ultimately I believe every human being is good, true, and has something infinitely beautiful in you that you have to share. But the reason it's not shared, the reason your business is not scaling, the reason that your marriage or your partnership at times is failing, the reason you lose your shit with your kids because you can't keep it together is because someone told you a story about who you were that you were choosing to believe at a greater level than you're choosing to believe the story that is already true about who you are. And then you said, you know what I'll do instead when I can't? Because I'm a man, I'm going to be the fucking hero. And you went back to your room by yourself, lonely, fearful, full of doubt, because you were unwilling to put the hero to death and stand confidently. Because vulnerability requires two things that most of us are unwilling to do. It requires invitation and proximity. But you know why most of us never give the invitation of vulnerability? Because we're afraid no one's going to come to our party. So I'm going to invite you to a party that you may or may not want to join, but you're here, so you have to. How many of you in the room right now need marketing help for your business? Stand up. Don't raise your hand. Stand up. How many of you in the room need marketing help for your business? If you are a marketer in the room, you are welcome. Look around. But this is what I mean by that, because stay standing, don't sit. Because vulnerability is not the exposure of weakness. That's a lie. That was a lie that we were told so that people like you and I, we would keep everything in because we're going to win, damn it. And I don't need you. Just like when I looked at my dad and he left and I wanted to say, you know what I wanted to say? Leave, damn it, I don't need you. And I'm 38 years old, and still when I hug my dad, the moment that I think it's appropriate to let go, I can't. Because I still want my dad to say, son, I love you, and I'm sorry that I left. But the only way that my father embraces me is when I create an invitation that says, come here. Stay standing. How many of you in the room right now believe you have the ability, through action and accountability, to help someone else in the room with marketing? Raise your hand if you think you can help somebody in this room with their marketing. And you can even be a person standing up that says that, right? So here's what I want you to do. Look around. If you think you can help somebody who is currently standing, I want you to go stand by them. Because vulnerability requires two things, invitation and proximity. You see, vulnerability can't happen with you over there and me over here and being like, it both sucks. It sucks, doesn't it? You suck, I suck, we all suck. See you next time when we suck a little less. That's not vulnerability. That's called disclosure. You know who's made a lot out of life with disclosure? This guy. I'll give you the roots of the story. It's the same shit I'm telling everybody else. What I didn't tell you is that I lost my shit on my son the other day when I said, go put your shoes away. And he went to get a fire truck to put the shoes in a fire truck and then take the shoe in the room and they come back, get the other shoe and take the shoe. And I said, just put the shoes in the room. It was very easy. Why is there a fire truck? The same reason you have an employee when you say, just follow the process. They said, I did. And you say, no, you did it. And they say, yes, that I did. And you lose your mind because you actually hired them to do the thing you said you never wanted to do again. And you know why they can't? Because you won't stop. Because you want to be the hero. Because you want to be the person that's going to win. And you want to be the one that says, choose me, choose me. Hey, let me give you an idea. If they're fucking working for you, they already chose you. Let's go a step further. How many of you in the room who are not currently standing, you know you need better relationships? You want better relationships in your life. Stand up. Stand up. If you're not standing up yet, how many of you in the room have a current need that you believe if you would be willing to expose? Not because you're weak, because you're human and you deeply desire to forget about isolation. You don't want to have doubt. You don't want to have fear. You don't want to have obstacle or insecurity. You want to be able to look in the mirror and say, I will not be defined by the things that I cannot have or that somebody told me that I was going to be. I'm going to choose to be defined by the opportunity to be seen and to see other people, because through invitation and proximity, vulnerability will not be the exposure of my weakness, but it will be my greatest opportunity for growth. If you're sitting down, you should be standing up because there is something in you that can be changed. And I'm not asking you to be like me. I'm asking you to be you. Most of us in the room are unwilling, though, because we're afraid of what someone's going to think about us. And currently, the only person in the room you're thinking about is yourself. I have no other way to describe to you that vulnerability is not the exposure of your weakness, but is your greatest opportunity for growth, because every person in the room is standing saying, I deeply desire to grow. Because this is humanity. This is vulnerability. Ladies and gentlemen, this is the Guardians. Have a wonderful night.